Now, one issue that came up last night, I alluded to it earlier. Geno Smith was injured in the second quarter of the game. Isaiah Simmons tackled him along the sideline, did the hip drop maneuver, a controversial
Hate this tackle.
technique.
Hate it.
The NFL discussed getting rid of in the offseason, ultimately decided to keep it, even though it's got the same injury risk as the horse collar tackle. But instead of pulling the weight of the ball carrier down, the hip drop tackle entails the weight of the tackler landing on the legs of the ball carrier as he hits the ground. And that is so far out of bounds. And I understand it started in bounds, but that just looks bad. When the body weight is landing on the legs of the quarterback that far out of bounds, that's another reason to get rid of the hip drop tackle. And coincidentally, or ironically as the case may be, Richard Sherman, member of the Legion of Boom, was vocal in the past about keeping the hip drop tackle. So Geno Smith was pissed. I thought he'd be done for the day. Took him to the x-ray room, had him in the blue tent before that, back at the start of the third quarter. I was stunned by that. And he drew an unsportsmanlike conduct foul for saying something to someone because he was still upset about it.
He's pissed about it.
And his comments after the game to Lisa Salters were very raw and candid. Dirty play. No place for that in the game. Game's hard enough without going out of your way to try to injure somebody. I mean, look, the players don't like the hip drop tackle. And you really didn't need to do it in that spot.
No, all you had to do is push him out of bounds.
Push him.
Exactly
Just
right.
push him.
It was unnecessary. That would be my first problem. You're right.
Right. So, and he's pissed. And now he acts like he's fine. I don't know how fine he is because we really didn't get to see him under a lot of duress or pressure or stress in the second half because it was all about the defense. But the good news for the Seahawks is he's got some time to heal up between now and their next game in Week 6.
Yeah, that's right. And then you're right. They got a timely bye week for them. You know, you don't always love the early bye week, but this might be one team that's like, we'll take it. You know, we've thrown ourselves around here the first 4 weeks. The injuries at offensive tackle we talked about. They lost a guard last night, so they need to get healthy and shirt up a little bit there. But yeah, that's the first thing. One. Players are smart enough to know now. We've seen that, the adjustments with all the different type of tackles and all that. You're getting towards the sidelines. You don't need to hip drop tackle anybody, okay? And that would be the first problem. You know, we've seen that. Okay, it's different if it's in the middle of the field and, hey, this is what you got to do. But right here, he's not turning the corner. You know that. You're Isaiah Simmons. You're a freak of nature. You're running him down. Just push him or tackle him the right way. And then, like I said, like you've always heard me say, Mike, I hate this tackle. One, like in the 80s, this tackle didn't happen. And this is where I blame the gloves because nobody falls off anybody anymore. You've heard me say that. As soon as this happens, you don't even have to grab. You're sticking onto the guy. And then you just drop your weight and you're gonna go down on him. So, yeah, the NFL's got to look at that. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, and we're going to lose people and lose stars because of that tackle, like the Cowboys lost Tony Pollard in a big moment in the divisional game last year.
I'm surprised they haven't already gotten rid of it. There's so much of a push now toward player health and safety that it should be gone, and maybe after last night and other examples of it we'll see over the course of the rest of the season because the season is still young. Maybe they will get rid of it after this year. Here's both Geno Smith and Pete Carroll after the game talking about the play that resulted in that knee injury to Geno Smith.
Initially I really just was, kind of in shock a little bit just from being rolled up on and having my leg pretty much trapped under the guy. And so there was, some slight pain. But overall, I was just happy that I, came out okay. So
this looks so dangerous. It was all of the effect of a horse collar tackle happened with the swing of the body that pulls down on the back of the legs, and he got hurt on that play. So a penalty wouldn't have rectified that, but it just looked like such a dangerous play. It might have warranted a second look. I don't know.
Yeah, and the second look needs to come after the season when they decide what is and isn't allowed. There's such a hesitation by the NFL to change anything. They're so afraid that they're going to change something and it's going to open some portal from hell that's going to suck the entire game into it because they did that in 2019 by making pass interference subject to replay review for calls and non-calls, and it did kind of suck the game through the portal of hell for a year until they got rid of it. They're a little skittish now they're a little concerned about the next change they make that's going to screw everything up. But
this
I
is
don't
a
think
player
this
safety
is gonna
thing,
screw
right?
anything up.
Yeah.
This is player safety, and there is no unintended consequence. There's an intended consequence, which is keep players from suffering injuries to the lower extremities by having defensive players fall on their legs as they're pulling them down to the ground.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Again, we're gonna be in this era of player safety, and we're all for that, right? I mean, I think it goes a little overboard when it comes to protection of the quarterbacks. Okay, I certainly know I complain about that at times, but for the most part, I'm very pleased and happy with the things that are being done to adjust the game. And you're seeing the players, they're capable of making these adjustments. And this would be an easy tackle to get out of the game very quickly. And guys would learn right away, like, okay, I can't do that. I got to push them. Or I got to just let all my body weight, from the top go and tackle the guy like we used to see in the old days, not let me grab him and now hold on and swing my legs, right? That's just that to me, this can be adjusted. It can be worked on, and players are smart enough to make those adjustments. I hope they can do that in the offseason. I think it's necessary. You're going to lose people's ankles all the time. It's very similar also to Dak Prescott. His ankle was turning towards London when he got up because of one of these tackles. All right, so that's where I don't want to see it anymore. It's tough to get your feet out of the ground in the game as it is already, let alone now when you got somebody grabbing the top of you and dropping all their weight on your ankles like that.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.